Franklin Graham is the son of evangelist Billy Graham. He is also a minister and a vocal leader who recently announced the Decision America Tour 2016. It's a call for Christians across the nation to pray and live out biblical principles at home, in public, and at the ballot box. We spoke with Graham about the most pressing political issues of this election for this week's Studio 5. What do we as Christians do when it comes to ISIS and the persecution of Christians we're seeing unfold?
Well, ISIS, it doesn't matter what name it's under, it's Islam. Mm-hmm. And Islam, the Iranian Islamic Republic, persecutes Christians. Naghmeh al-Adini, as you know and you've interviewed, her husband Saeed is in prison because of his Christian faith, and it's the Islamic Republic of Iran that is doing it to him. The Iranians are Shiites, but the Sunnis persecute the Christians. We see in Syria and Iraq where they cut the heads of Christians. They rape the women, take them as sex slaves, take the Yazidis, the minorities, and they do the same thing. They kill the men but take the women to have sex with them. And then after they have used them for a number of months, they're so distraught mentally and physically that then they may let them go or they may kill them. But this is Islam. And if you look at Saudi Arabia, again, it's Islam. There are no churches in Saudi Arabia. If you go into Saudi Arabia with a Bible, they've taken it away from you. If you try to preach or evangelize in Saudi Arabia, they will execute you. So this is Islam, and they persecute the church. They persecute Christians. And so I think we have a real problem in this country as it relates to immigration. I think we need to examine people very carefully before we allow them in, because we are creating a danger for ourselves.
The president's talking about increasing the number of immigrants. That concern you?
Well, I think I would love to see those immigrants be the minorities, the Christians, the Yazidis, and other minorities, the Assyrians and so forth, that still live in Syria, that are minorities, and allow these Christians and minorities to come to this country would be great. But to allow more Muslims into this country at this time while we're still fighting against ISIS and we have these issues, I think it's creating a problem for us.
Europe is seeing an immigration crisis as well. Europe is seeing an immigration crisis.
No question, it's huge. And I understand, if I was a Syrian and my country was being blown apart, and I realized if I just got to the coast and got to a boat, and all I have to do is land on an island in Europe, and I'm there. And that's what they're doing. But unfortunately, some of these refugees are being drowned, not purposely, but I mean, they're drowning at sea, losing their life. I think the United States should be creating safe zones inside of Syria. They ought to be working with the Russians to create these safe zones that a person can flee, that there would be no militants, no armed groups in these areas, and they would be protected until there is a political settlement in the country. And we could easily accommodate all the refugees in these safe zones.
How would you grade our president thus far on handling that particular crisis?
Well, I would have to say that the crisis is a result of his failed policies. His generals told him not to leave Iraq, that we needed to keep troops in Iraq to keep the country stable. He didn't listen to them. And so al-Maliki, the president, who is a Shiite, as soon as the Americans pulled out, he began to marginalize the Sunnis. And when the Sunnis realized that they didn't have a seat at the table anymore, the Sunnis are the old Republican Guard. It's the Saddam Hussein's colonels and captains and lieutenants. Those guys were armed and they knew how to fight, and they developed ISIS, and they joined with the Syrians, who were already in a civil war with the Sunnis there, to create this Islamic State. And it's the president's, again, it's his failed policy.
We are all watching the Republican presidential primary unfold. Are there any specific issues you're watching for in that?
It's entertaining,
Yeah.
but there's also some very good men and women. I think all of them are smart people. I think all of them have a vision for a better America than where we are today. I know not all of them, but most of them, and I think there's some real possibilities for new leadership there.
What's your prayer?
My prayer is that God will give us a man or a woman that loves God, that fears God, that will look to Him every day for guidance, that we would have that kind of president once again.
Defunding Planned Parenthood, we're seeing that battle play out. What are your thoughts? What do you want to see happen?
I think it would be a great mistake for the Republicans to shut down the government. That doesn't help anybody, and it will just backfire and it'll burn them. I think the Republicans, and I'm disappointed in the Democratic Party, and I'm disappointed in the Republican Party. And what happens is that both parties get into Washington and they forget who sent them there. And so these guys, unfortunately, have lost touch. And Planned Parenthood is murdering children in a mother's womb, selling the parts of these fetuses, of these babies, to people who pay money. This is a wicked thing that they're doing, evil. And they need to be defunded. But I think we should not be shutting down the government to do this. The Republicans need to be more aggressive, and the moderate Democrats need us to come out from under the control of their party and stand for what's right.